Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Y Generation, the show where we talk about all the things that matter to our generation. I'm Andrew Olivares, and I have the pleasure of chairing this debate between my esteemed panellists. We have Michelle, an aspiring radio presenter who has once flown in a jetpack. That's pretty cool. James, who is a journo student and a hip-hop artist who got to support Ja Rule and Exhibit. That's even cooler. Jacqueline, whose hometown is Ghana. She's looking to change the stereotypical views people hold towards Africa. And Shane has found time to return to our panel. He's studying a double degree in global studies and the arts, so I imagine you're pretty busy, right?
With 5 seasons of Breaking Bad to catch up on. Yeah, flat out, mate.
Perfect. Now let's give him a round of applause. Now that we've met our guests, let's get right into everyone's favourite topic, because Y said so. We've got a message from Beach Babe 92. Hi, YGen. I've just moved from the bikini-wearing suburb of Bondi to a very conservative Muslim area and have noticed some very significant differences, mainly their clothing. Women walk around with minimal skin showing even in 40 degrees heat. And it occurred to me, if people can say you're wearing too little, can you also be wearing too much? What are your thoughts on the matter? Am I just ignorant, or could there be some truth to this? So do we agree with Beach Babe? James, what do you think?
I think, of course, you know, if you want to wear what you want to wear, then go for it. It shouldn't be dictated by the people around you. And besides, there's new standards of modesty in society anyway. I mean, personally, when I'm going to the shopping centre, I like to wear one of these bad boys. I do try on occasion wear a mankini, but I think it's a little too much.
Right, yeah.
Personally, this is about the right amount of revealing that you should be doing. So I'm pretty happy about that.
If you have any more tape left, maybe you should put some on your mouth.
Oh, really?
Come on, guys, this isn't the Super Bowl halftime show.
No, do your worst.
Wow. Interesting stuff, guys.
I think the rest of the show should be
First of all,
quite
I
good.
just want to say, Beach Babe, what is exactly is your problem? Are you having a problem with yourself for wearing too little, or is it the Muslims in that area that you're having?
See, I think
I don't know.
it feels like because she was like all like bikini wearing in those Bondi suburbs, she's probably moved to an area where she's surrounded with these people that don't show that much skin. Do you think that she should concede to that and do as they do?
I think a little bit, because if she wants to be talk of that area, then.
But it shouldn't matter. I mean, if everyone is wearing head-to-toe cloaks, like that, in my opinion, is not the standard attire for Australia as a whole, as it is.
Oh.
So
the standard attire for Australia is usually pretty shocking. It's usually just a singlet and shorts. So we don't really have much ground to give advice on fashion in particular. But when I think about dressing and wearing too much, the only thing that comes to mind especially is Adam on season 1 and his denim on denim. But otherwise, like, what a shitty thing to really care about and to judge people on, like the things they wear. Like, there's other trivial things that we judge people on, but this has got to be the most trivial.
Yeah, there isn't really too little or too much. I mean, it depends on the context. People dress for many different reasons, you know, religion, weather, personal taste. But if you're saying, like, can you wear too much, then what are you saying? Like, people say if you wear too much, you're considered a prude. You know, there's often those stereotypes thrown out there. But then what are you saying? In winter, everyone's a prude? Or in cold countries
everyone is a prude in winter.
And what about cold countries like Russia, for
Europeans,
example?
all prudes, every one of them.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about here, Burke, for example. They're just wearing these in all weather, in any conditions. Do you think that that's appropriate? Like, when she's...
If that's their background, I mean, if they go to the beach, they have a burkini. Like, that's how society has progressed. But that's a serious thing. It's a burkini.
It's true.
I would wear one.
But what happens in societies where it becomes such a big issue that you have to ban these things? Like France in the last couple of years, the nation of where liberty was born has now brought in laws where you can't wear burqas in a certain place. And they're pushing to have it banned outright across society as a whole.
So they are saying that we can't wear too much.
The burqa itself.
They do talk about that, but come on, if you're wearing a burqa, you stand out like a sore thumb. So if anything, if you want sexually to be concerned...
You feel like there's an underlying sense of racism there that we're trying to get rid of.
Undeniably, yes. So their intentions are good and stuff like that, but when what you wear becomes such a big issue, it's really drawing away from much more pressing matters in society.
There are people that don't wear, you know, the burqa, the hijab, but still, you know, have terrorism thoughts.
Yeah, and like a lot of terrorists now that we see that are coming out aren't particularly from Muslim backgrounds and just look like you or I. Look at Alexander Breivik from Scandinavia there a couple of years ago.
Exactly. Well, that just goes to show that clothing doesn't actually represent the kind of person someone is. I mean, you could dress a certain way and be a completely different person to how people perceive you.
Just like Miley Cyrus.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a delicate issue when we're talking about religions there, but it's time to go from dressing up now to dressing down. We've received a private Facebook message. Hey there, Wygen. I've recently had a sleepover with my friends, and as fate would have it, truth or dare came up. When we each had to confess when we lost our virginity, some girls said that they were only 14, while others admitted they were still virgins. Feeling a bit self-conscious, we were all wondering if there's an appropriate age to lose your virginity. We know our parents say never, and our boyfriends say now. But what do you guys reckon? Michelle, what do you think are the pros and cons of waiting?
Well, of course, if you wait, then most likely that means you're going to be more mature and in a stable and serious relationship. So, of course, then you're more educated and perhaps you know what you're going into.
But you can also find 20-year-olds, like me, for example. I am completely immature. Do you think I'm ready to, like,
well, see, it's
go like
a
that?
personal choice. I mean, it all comes down to the person. So if you're ready and you're with somebody who you're committed to, then that should be what dictates your decision.
So do you guys think that that person, you have to be committed to them to lose your virginity to them?
Well, yeah, of course you're going to be committed to them. It's either, personally, I think either you're going to get married or you're ready to have a child. But then don't forget financial responsibility. Like, you know, you're living under either your parents' roof, and you know, it's good to share, you know, house rent with them, or either you're living by yourself and you and your child and your boyfriend.
But what's so wrong about like a 16-year-old girl that's home with a boyfriend to just lose her virginity?
Wrong with it. It's just, is she mentally capable of looking after herself as a minor and a baby as well? That's just...
The key thing there is that if she's going to then rely on MTV 16 and Pregnant for her main income, that's where the problem occurs.
But I mean, pregnancy is not necessarily going to happen from it. I mean, you can't say, like, if you're actually going to have sex with someone, that necessarily means you're going to get pregnant. Like, if you're actually aware of all the risks and you take the precaution, then that, you know, that shows a sign of maturity, really.
Yeah, isn't it absolutely fine?
Isn't it? I thought that, you know, if you had sex, your penis would fall off and die.
So it doesn't?
No.
Oh, what am I waiting for
revelation. They've got these things that you put on. I think they're called rapper-doodles. And you just put those on, and you're sweet.
Don't you guys think that because there are so much like technology and contraception and stuff, isn't it just fine to just lose your virginity when you're
No, because it's a big emotional thing. It's not so much all the risks that are involved as well. It's your development as a person, where you interact with other human beings and build relationships, see what's important, where your priorities are at, where your kinks and fetishes are as well. But like, age is a poor definer of maturity, because when you're making these decisions, it's you as a person making a personal decision of
and
what you do.
Let's just point out that 16 is the legal age to be able to have sex in this country.
But then we also put age limits that are probably inappropriate on other things like drinking and stuff like that.
Right.
Voting.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you only ever see yourself not as your age, just as yourself. Someone who's 16 sees themselves as mature and is confident in making a decision as a 50-year-old would, because you're not looking at your own age, you're only in your own headspace and just looking at how confident you are in dealing with something like that.
Well, I think we can all agree that it's down to personal choice. Well, we know what our panel thought, but what about you guys at home? Decide amongst yourselves and join the conversation at #YGenTV, and we'll see you back here shortly on The Y Generation. Welcome back to The Y Generation. Check out our crew as they brave the streets this week to find out the real winner of the oldest popularity contest known to man. Cats versus dogs. Who is better and who deserves our love?
Dogs rule.
Cats totally rule.
Dogs.
Cats because they're more friendly and easier to train than dogs.
Definitely dogs. Cats have masters. Dogs are man's best friend.
Dogs are a man's best friend.
Cats are like more independent. Dogs, they're too eager.
I like mostly dogs.
Dogs.
They are very sympathetic and very generous about the people.
They're more loyal. They hang around. Cats just piss off when they go looking for food.
Hands down, I have a dog named Clifford.
Cats,
I'd say, yeah.
I'll have a cat. Kind of a biased opinion, really.
Cats really are a bit more cleaner than dogs, I think. bit more easy to manage.
Dogs.
Dog.
Dogs.
Dogs are fluffy. Can't really like put a cat on a leash and walk it.
They're more useful and cats are likely to attack you and stuff.
Dogs. I'm allergic to cats.
Cats are ugly.
Oh, I don't know. I love both, but I'd have to say dogs.
Cats can be kind of like aloof.
They just go and pee everywhere.
Cats are, they go outside, I don't know what they're gonna eat and come to the house.
I don't know, my friend has a cat and he secretly thinks that it's a human, so... Dogs are like you, they love you, so it's like, feel the love.
I can't stand either.
I'm pretty biased on this topic because I have my dog Benjamin waiting for me at home, a Maltese Shih Tzu or a shit tease. But I'll admit that from the start. What about you, James? Man's best friend or the internet?
Gotta be dogs. I mean, I just heard someone there say cats are more independent. I don't want my cat to go to the grocery for me, bring me home some food and then cook it for itself.
So you're intimidated about what the cat might be able to achieve?
Can't get any higher. But no, seriously, like they're just a furry ball of evil and I don't like them at all.
Why I'm a dog lover.
You're a dog lover? Why are you a dog lover, Jackie?
I already have a dog and his name's called Samson.
Samson?
Yes. And it does everything I do. It poses, when I take photos, it goes to the mirror.
Yeah.
You know, cats do the same thing. They're just as capable of that.
They're independent.
They're all right.
Clearly,
so you're a cat lady, Michelle?
Oh, yes, clearly I am a cat person for many different reasons. I mean, as was said in the video, cats are ugly. Have you seen a bulldog lately? I mean, you can't just put all cats into one basket, although that would be really cute. But, you know, dogs, they stink, they're hard when you pick them up. Have you ever tried to pick a dog up? Their legs go everywhere. You pick a cat up, it flops nicely, it's sweet, you can hold it.
And it closes your face off.
Yeah. Stereotype, there you go. This is why I'm the only cat person on the panel here right now.
So Shane, tell us.
Well, if anything that The Simpsons has taught us, an elephant is by far the best pet you could ever get. But how far do you want to take this back? Like, dogs were domesticated by humans when we were still nomadic, and they stuck by us, and we fed them, but they scared off other feral dogs and other large animals while we were still in the food chain. So they've been looking out for us for a long time.
Yeah, I had a snake in my backyard and my dog scared it off. So,
yeah, same with my dog. We had a rabbit in my backyard the other day and my dog went feral.
Whereas the cat's just going to be like, the cat will see it, walk straight past you, won't tell you to be like...
It wouldn't care.
It probably set up the ambush and kill you.
I had a moth in my room the other day and my cat got it.
Wow.
So...
A moth.
How terrifying.
Exactly.
Victoria
Watch out for
for that cat, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure the ancient Egyptians didn't make a giant statue of a dog. No, it's all based on cats.
They didn't need to because they were like, dogs are just reverent masters above whatever we can do. A statue won't do them any good.
See, that's because they respected cats, though, and cats earn your respect.
But don't you guys think that also with, like, the internet phenomenon of the cat, it makes us happy, it makes us, like, united in happiness?
Exactly. See,
Shouldn't the
I
cats
don't like
win
the
that?
cat. I just like that
He
he's
never
going like,
smiles
no.
anyway, so...
He never smiles. It's the angry cat, right?
Yeah,
no, but see, every second meme on the internet is of a cat. Why? Because dogs are uninteresting. You know, they're gonna need constant obedience and training to do any sort of trick. But a cat, you stick a cat's face through a slice of bread and bam, you know, you've got entertainment.
Right, it's a tough one, But what about having both at home? Why not have a cat and a dog?
Too dangerous.
Too dangerous? Why is that?
Nah, too many competition.
You can't mix cats and dogs.
Yeah.
No?
Cats stir up dogs.
It creates a
and dogs kill
vortex,
cats.
like a black hole if you do that. And that would be the end of the universe.
But wouldn't it be the cutest thing for them to be loyal to each other and them to be cute together? Wouldn't that be the best?
I'd be more worried about the cat turning the dog against both of us and then planning some sort of mass suicide pact.
Right.
They've already put dogs and cats in a room and it's called Parliament. And that's always a whirlwind.
It is entertaining, though, so we could get that. Actually, no, it's not. Parliament is very, very
But, like, about 45% of households that actually have pets have both dogs and cats, and they find it that if they're both treated and obedient to each other, it's perfect mix to have.
You can always have both, but cats are still better. It's just a fact. I mean, you know, they're cleaner, they're nicer. There's just so many more positive aspects to a cat than a dog.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to agree on that one today. That looks like that age-old question isn't going to be answered today by our panel. We'll return after the break with more YGen, so you stay where you are. We're now going to get a little serious here on the Y Generation. It's time to get down to the really thought-provoking stuff that, yes, we, the Y Generation, do care about. Well, Australia is an expanding nation, and with growth comes social challenges. Recent stats show that 1 in 4 of Australia's 23 million people were born overseas, and many have a very poor grasp of the English language. Do you think people living in Australia should be made to enrol in compulsory English language schools to overcome language barriers? What do you guys think? Jacqueline?
I think that if you're, like, you know, there's a saying, if you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. So I think that if you're going to come here, you know, for work purposes or lifestyle purposes, whatever, you should learn the language. But I think that, you know, maybe after an age of 65, it's okay not to learn English because you're not going to go back to the workforce. You're going to be a pensioner. You're going to be doing what you do.
So you think that people that are going into the workforce should be forced to go into these language schools?
Yeah, because that's the way of communicating with your boss, with whatever you're working with. But even if, you know, you are a pensioner, I'm not saying that you shouldn't completely learn English, but you should learn some substance of it.
But I disagree, though. I think, I mean, if you're 65, you're still going to be going out. You know, you have to go to restaurants and various places, and you still have to interact with the public. You're not just locked up in, well, you'd hope you're not just locked up in your home for the rest of your life.
You'll go out with your family. So you have family that are English-speaking. It's not all like, we only speak this language, so we can't go out.
But are you going to use your little son as a minion to go get your diapers?
But don't you think it's hard for a 65-year-old to learn a completely different language?
But, you know, we're always growing and gaining more knowledge throughout our entire life. So our entire life is a journey. Why should that limit with language? I mean, if I went into to France, for example, even if I was 65, I'd still want to learn the language. I want to be able to just gain that extra bit of knowledge.
But maybe they are so willing to learn this language, but because they are like quite mature, it's hard. It's hard to learn a completely different language.
It might be difficult, but what's harder is not knowing the language and being segregated within a society that speaks a language that you don't understand. I mean, yeah, simple tasks like going down to the shops will be quite difficult. Like, I work in customer service and I've had customers come up to me and speak in their language fluently. I can't help them. They can't find what they need. Nobody wins in that situation. It just makes things very hard.
They get pissed off when you can't understand them, right?
Exactly.
Look, should learning English be compulsory? No. Encouraged, yes, absolutely. And made easier, yes. You still should be able to make the choice. You can never tell anyone what they can and can't do. Like, think of it this way. Look, it sounds easy to us to say, yeah, they should learn English, they should speak English if they want to come here. But come on, if you move to another country, with all your Australian entitlement that we all seem to have, if you moved to somewhere like Brazil and they wanted you to go learn Portuguese or Spanish and said you have to, wow, how offended would we get to be told what we have to do? It shouldn't be compulsory to learn English, but encourage us. And you know what? It shouldn't even just be encouraged to learn English for people who don't speak English in Australia. We should be encouraged and made easier to learn any language we want, even as native Australians. So why not make it easier to communicate with other people in our society as it grows more and more multicultural?
But if there is a predominant language that a country speaks and that there are signage and different things in that language, then, you know, sometimes you have no choice but to comply, and that's just to make everybody's lives easier.
Yeah, it's a tough one when we're discussing the different ages and workforces. It's quite a tough one, and I don't think we're going to all agree on this one. For those of you looking for a job or are planning to, I think it's time to listen up. When it comes to applying for jobs, and when you're just starting out, you can feel like the whole world is more experienced than you, and I sure did. These days, it's not uncommon for people born overseas to come to Australia just for the perfect job. With a climbing figure of youth unemployment, should Australian citizens be granted first priority when it comes to employment? Shane, what do you think?
No, absolutely not. Look, 44% of Australians at the moment have either parents or they themselves have moved from another country. Right. So there's got to be people on this panel I know for sure who have family members and friends who have migrated to Australia, and you wouldn't want them to lose out on that opportunity. When looking at employing people, you should only be judged on your merit and your ability to do the job, and whether your credentials are up to scratch and better than the next person that's applying for the job. And quite frankly, I've met a lot of Australians who are far less cut out for a lot of jobs than their counterparts and their colleagues that happen to be migrants from another country.
I have to agree with you because, you know, my parents are from another country, and my parents are really hardworking. They never stopped working even up until this day. They're still working, whereas, you know, the Australians here that should be working don't want to do it, so we might as well take the job because I need it.
We're not just discussing a lazy Australian comparison to a dedicated overseas individual. We're talking, what if there were two candidates and both had the same qualifications? An Australian-born and someone from overseas, who should get that priority? James? Michelle?
Wow, that is a tough one, though. Like, I mean, if you're identical in your qualifications. How do you do that? You flip a coin? I mean, I guess...
Well, it should come down always to merit and to qualifications.
I'm thinking maybe... but I'm thinking like maybe on that point, if, for example, you're a uni student, for example, that's where I would put a thing in there, because these are people who have gone out of their way to get a higher education to potentially improve the country. Offer them higher employment opportunities if you're going to make a difference with it.
And, OK, so you're saying that university shouldn't, Australian university students should get the first priority?
It should be racially bound.
And not university students from overseas?
Yeah. Well, wherever they want to come from, I don't really care.
But if two people have the same qualifications and, like you said, they're the same, there's no differentiation between them aside from their birthplace, then it should come down to their own character, how they present themselves in a job interview, how they answer the questions, what they can bring to a company. But birthplace does not affect how someone's going to succeed or not succeed in a role.
So it's also the idea of like a global citizenship, so then we all can also leave Australia and find these jobs overseas. Don't we agree on that?
Yeah, I know someone that actually left this country to go back to their home country, and now they've been in the same position as a HR manager, and they couldn't go up, so now they're gone, and now they're on top.
So yeah, so you agree that we shouldn't give first priority to Australian-born because we want the opportunity to also travel and work overseas.
Yeah, we would like to have that similar opportunity if we went to another country.
Yeah.
Like if we went to England, or if we went to China, or if we went to Sierra Leone, we all would want the same opportunity as everyone else. And as well as that, like you've got to consider how the objectives of the employer, whether you want to portray an image, like there's a lot of retail brands that want a particular kind of person working for them, or a surgeon, where you just want results and you want the best of the best when people's lives are at stake.
Yeah, so I think
at the end of the day, the best candidate, regardless of what it is, background, skills, whatever, if they are the best candidate,
I guess we can all agree that it's all to do with meritocracy and just equality between everyone in the world. So for the good of our international relations, I think we better stop there. But if you want to have your say and continue the conversation on Twitter or Facebook, #YGenTV, or like our Facebook page, Y Generation. Thanks for tuning in. We'll leave you with a YouTube clip that wasted several minutes of our week that we won't be getting back, but we loved every single second of it. Enjoy and join us next week on The Y Generation. I'm Andrew Olivares. See you later.